And welcome to the Technology Geek podcast. I am your host, Brandon Lapani, the Technology Geek. And as always, we are here to talk computers, the internet, security, IT, all that jazz. As always, you can find us on our website, thetechnologygeek.org, as well as you can follow me on my Twitter at LapaniTech. And it's wonderful to be here. It's a 22nd podcast. I can't believe 22 already. They do go by really quick. The weeks just fly by. And like I said, we have just tons of news going on this week in the world of tech, and we want to go over all of it. First thing, although, I want to go ahead and say thank you to our wonderful sponsors. First sponsor, as always, is Audible. Audible, wonderful book service that they are, owned by Amazon now, by the way. They do such a wonderful job with audiobooks. I myself am reading a book. Most of you know the WikiLeak movie, talking about Julian Assange's life, is coming out, I believe, later on in the year. And I'm actually going ahead right now, and I'm actually, reading the book and all that, and I'm actually using Audible. They are really, really a wonderful service, and I'm very glad to have them as a sponsor of the podcast. And if you want to go ahead and get Audible. And Audible's great, by the way. Listen to, while you're driving, you can listen to books. You can listen to them while you're at the gym, doing all that stuff, cleaning, anything like that. So, reading is a wonderful way to spare your spare time. Whether it's fiction, nonfiction, no matter what. It's just a really, really great way to spend your spare time. And if you sign up today using our free trial, audibletrial.com/techgeek, you can go ahead and get a 30-day free trial, one free download. And if you use that promo code, you can get that free offer. It's really, really a great offer. Actually, I think it's great. If you think about it, what a book, you buy a book nowadays, it's what $20. Good book is you can get a free book just by signing up. So we're very glad, if you'd use our promo code, so we can go ahead and get the credit for it. Another wonderful sponsor we have is ProXPN.com, and they're a wonderful VPN service. And let me tell you, if you're going to be using VPN service in Starbucks or in any coffee shop or in any hotel, restaurant, you really should use a VPN solution. This way you don't have to have people stealing your data, stealing your information, any of that stuff. So it really is a wonderful service, and everybody should use a VPN. I mean, I know myself, I don't myself use ProXPN. I probably will, but I don't. Right now I have a Linux box set up at home, and I VPN right to my Linux box, do all my banking, and then disconnect my VPN. I use a 2048-bit key, and really is such a it really is just something you have to do in this day and age with the way security theft is and all that type of stuff. So I'd recommend going ahead and definitely getting a VPN solution. If you don't want to set up a Linux box like I do, you can get they have a wonderful offer code for Pro XPN. If you use our promo code TECH, TECGEK, and again, it's proxpn.com, and you can put in the offer code when you check out. Tech Geek, TECGEK, and they're really a wonderful service. And like I said, I myself, if I do more traveling, I may actually just go ahead and just use them just to save the hassle of running my own Linux box at home. But they're a wonderful service, and I recommend using them. And that's again, proxpn.com/ and you can actually use our promo code TechGeek. Another wonderful sponsor as well that we have as far as this podcast is Dollar Shave Club. Really a wonderful online service, and what you do is you order your blades, and the blades come in. It's like $6-8 a month. You get 4 blades, 1 a week, and you just shave and use your blades. So $6-8 a month. It's better than spending $22, $25 at the at the grocery store, at the pharmacy, and they're good quality blades, 4-blade and 8 blades. They're really wonderful service. I'm very lucky to have them. Go to our website, thetechnologygeek.org, and you'll see a little further down. You'll see Join Dollar Shave Club. Click on the link and go ahead and get a free and get that wonderful offer from them. And that's dollarshaveclub.com. They really are a wonderful service. And the gentleman that owns Dollar Shave Club recently was on Opie and Anthony, and just talking about their service and getting off the ground with it and all that. And they really, really know what they're doing. And I really, really believe they're going to be a really successful company. They are a successful company, but they're branching out into, hand creams, all that. So they want to be like your one-stop shop. I think they're even going to start shipping out coffee now. They want to be like the one-stop stop for all your morning needs. And so they're really a wonderful service, and they're definitely going to go places very, very soon. But there are sponsors, and we're very lucky to have them. We want to make sure that everybody knows about them and take and another thing too is really wonderful for our listeners to take advantage of those great those great services and great offers that they give our listeners. Some other things too, as well. Everybody knows we've been having some issues with our eBay store. It should be back up now. We had some issues with our eBay account, and I think we got it all squared away now. So if you go to again thetechnologygeek.org and click on the store, and you see all of our wonderful eBay stuff. And believe me, we appreciate everybody buying the tapes, buying the video games, the DVDs, the T-shirts. All that stuff. We appreciate all you guys buying that stuff off our eBay store and supporting the site. So we really appreciate that, and that keeps all that stuff, the banner ads and the eBay store, and all this stuff. It really keeps keeps the site up, keeps it running, keeps it free, and allows us to do this every week for you guys. So we appreciate you guys as well sponsoring, using our eBay store, and as well as being patient with us as we had it down for a little bit, but it's back up now. So, and also too, I wanted to thank last couple weeks we had a lot of wonderful guest posts from guest authors, and we want to thank everybody for that. And please, go ahead and keep those wonderful guest posts coming, and we really do love the guest posts, and we are very grateful to have those. So anybody that wants to get guest posts, please feel free to go ahead and send me, and we'll be more than happy to get those up there. So as we talk about stuff here on the Technology Geek. I want to first of all say for those of you that I haven't talked about movies and all that in a while, but some really really neat things. Coming out of the movie industry, obviously the WikiLeaks movie coming out, talking about Julia Assange. That's something too that really has come a long way in the world of tech. Is people talking about, like we had the Social Network. We had Pirates of Silicon Valley, stuff like that. A lot of people really coming out with new movies. We have the Job movie coming out, another week. So a lot of people really, the tech world really being embraced in the movie industry, and now this WikiLeaks movie. But that's something that's coming out. Some other things too in the movie world. Independence Day 2. I know a lot of you guys, if you're my age, you remember that coming out when you were a younger kid. And I can't believe they're doing a second one. That's coming out too. There's going to be no Will Smith in it, but coming out with another Independence Day. So that's very interesting. Some other things too going on. We have some other, as far as talking about, we don't really talk about photography a whole lot here, but something I was watching, I happened to be flipping through the channels this past week, and I noticed Shark Week. And on the Discovery Channel, they take great pride in all that Shark Week stuff, and it really is wonderful programming. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's worth watching. But one thing about the Shark Week is they were trying to get a couple interesting shots of the sharks, especially since the sharks jump out of water, and they actually use the same technology that they use in the Matrix to get this panoramic view of the sharks jumping out of the water. And I thought that was really interesting. When the Matrix first came out, 2005, 2006, that technology was revolutionary, and now they're hooking it up to a boat and using it to get pictures of sharks. So it really is an interesting thing, and how they really adapted the technology and how the technology moves so quickly. But it was a really great shot. And the other thing too they wanted to get a down-looking picture of a shark jumping out of the water, and he used this balloon with a camera on it, and using all this rigging and all that stuff to really get a picture of the shark coming out of the water and get a picture looking right down at him. I mean, we had seen pictures like that, CGI pictures, in movies like Deep Blue Sea and all those, but nothing ever really live like this. So that was really an amazing job they did on that, and it definitely is worth checking out the Discovery Channel Shark Week just for the photography alone and the thing these men do to actually go ahead and get these pictures. It's just really, really amazing. Some other things going on in the world of computers, talking about technology, is the uneasy feeling that everybody had this year at Defcon, which is kind of something that makes, I think, everybody really upset. Years ago, you would have you'd have the guys there, the hackers there, and they would wear T-shirts that says I spotted the Fed, and the Fed would wear a T-shirt that says I was spotted, I'm the Fed that was spotted. It really was a neutral ground for everybody. DEF CON was, but this year with everything going on, very much not an easy feeling for everybody. A feeling of scared, a feeling of tension, of not such a great feeling. Another reason for that, too, obviously, famed hacker, we talked about this last week, passed away in a very controversial way. So there's a very uneasy feeling this year at Defcon, and it really is a shame. And it really just really shows you how an event that was a learning process for everybody now has turned into something that isn't as much fun anymore because of things that are going on in the world right now. So, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but just a very, very uneasy feeling at DEF CON this year. And it's a great event like always, but the tension was on more than ever before. So, some other things, too, going on in the world of security is a lot of people are saying now that the hacker that was supposed to say something about pacemakers and security holes in pacemakers, they said there's a lot of controversy about it, and I don't know how true that is, but I know sometimes people can blow stuff out of proportion, but they were saying that apparently there's security holes in pacemakers and stuff, and that he was the one that was going to announce it, and that could be the reason why something happened. I don't know if I believe all that, but that's what people are saying. So. Some other things, too, in the world of tech. The 2600 magazine, they're a wonderful publication. If you don't read them, you should. 2600, it's one of the very few technical publications that's out nowadays that I can actually read and not get bored on. A lot of these, the PC, make your PC better and stuff like that. They're great magazines for people that are hobbyists and stuff like that. But I'm by far not a hobbyist. This is one of the very few publications that you can read at a higher level and really enjoy. Wonderful publication, comes out 4 times a year. I make it a point to stop in the local bookstore here and pick it up and read it. It's really a wonderful publication. And if you don't read it, you're an IT person like myself, you definitely should pick it up. There's a lot of good tidbits in there, and it's something you can read without being bored out of your mind. But it's a wonderful publication, and we support 2600 here. They've been very good to us. We're actually going to have one of the authors come on the podcast here eventually and talk about the publication. They've really been with us a long time, and we really like them. So they really want. And like I said, it's a great publication, and you can learn so much from it. And it's an easy read. It comes out quarterly, so go ahead and pick that up if you don't have it. But they're a wonderful publication. They've got a lot of great things in here about stuff that's going on, stuff that was supposed to be talked about at Defcon and all type of stuff, and it's definitely worth picking up. So those of you that are interested, pick it up and read it. It's 2600 magazine. You can get a subscription to it on your Kindle or you can order a subscription off their site 2600.com. But it definitely is worth the read. So go ahead and pick it up. And there's some other articles in there I think everybody would enjoy this month. Some other things going on as far as security goes. Homeforhackers.com. They're trying to attract startups to Kansas City for 3 months rent-free. Utilities and Google Fiber paid for 3 months just to move your startup there. One of the reasons why they're doing this is Kansas City's trying to draw startups into the business and into the business world, and this is the way they're going to try to do it. As you know, Kansas City recently got Google Fiber, and this is their way of going ahead and trying to attract new businesses, into there. This is all funded, by the way, by Bitcoin, and it's really a wonderful publication. It's really a wonderful thing that they're doing this year, and it really, really is a great way to get startups going. And like I said, it's sponsored by Bitcoin. You might want to make a donation, especially if you're a startup that's thinking about this. If you're a startup and you definitely want to go ahead and move your startup to Kansas City, this is definitely the way we're going to go. It's homeforhackers.com. And they're really very interesting, and I think it's very, very great way to attract new businesses to Kansas City. Good for them, and wonderful idea. So that's homeforhackers.com again. So some other things in the world. So I know we kind of, at the beginning, I always like to banter a little bit about the stuff that I find on the internet. I find interesting, stuff I find neat, stuff that really a lot of people here would enjoy. But there's some other stuff too. I like to talk about the tech news, and that's what we're going to go next. Obviously, if you've been watching the news at all this week, you saw Jeff Benzo buys the Washington Post. Jeff Benzo knows how important the Washington Post is to D.C., and one of the reasons why he picked that up was because he wants to keep it going. Washington Post, obviously, any type of paper print struggling as of the last couple of years. And by the way, Amazon, I want to clear this up. There were some rumors about this. Amazon did not buy them. Jeff Benzo himself bought them. So I guess he wants to be in the newspaper business. But he purchased them for $250 million in cash, and he plans to keep it in operating order. Plans to be the sole owner of it, and doesn't plan to change very much. I'm sure he'll change something, to go ahead and to make sure it's profitable. But very interesting. I also want to point out too, we have a lot of our listeners are from Slashdot, and by the way, another great website that I really really enjoy. And if you don't read Slashdot, you definitely should. It really is a wonderful publication, and started by one of our listeners, Commander Taco. And he actually left Slashdot a couple years ago to go ahead and work at the Washington Post. And he's over there now. So he was. He's a fan of the show. He, as well as he's also a friend of mine. So I talk to him on the internet once in a while. So he's working there now. So I'm very interested to see. Hopefully he'll get. Hopefully maybe he'll get a little bit of more of a push, But one thing I do want to say, the WA Pro Labs, which is where he works, we're not part of the deal, but I'm sure they'll be affected by this deal. So I would like to see, exactly what he's going to be doing there. But wonderful writer, wonderful guy. I enjoy reading his stuff all the time, but he works at the Washington Post, so I'm sure, like I said, WAP Pro Lab was included in the purchase, but I'd be interested to see if he moves ahead as a bigger bigwig. The guy definitely knows how to run a website, and but again, the Post, purchased by Jeff Benzo, and I'm interested to see what they do. I'm sure they'll be around, but I'm curious how they're going to change. They've been struggling as well as some other places too, and we'll get to that. Apple obviously for $10 going to replace USB power adapters. This is all, by the way, part of some of this was brought up at Defcon, by the way, too, this year, was that you can use a malicious charger to go ahead and hack an Apple device. So Apple is saying, it's going to take, the third part. It's going to take. This is exactly what they wrote right here. Third-party adapters may be dangerous, and Apple will replace the adapters for $10. So, Apple going to go ahead and, the brand itself has been in trouble lately, struggling just a bit. And, this is hopefully a better way for them to help, get out of the trouble they're in. But again, Apple will replace your charger now for $10. So, good for them. And if you do have a charger, make sure you take advantage of that. Something interesting we don't talk about. We're not a wrestling podcast. I am, as most of the people that do listen to the podcast know, I am quite a big wrestling fan. And the way they've changed over the years is nothing short of amazing, by the way they've adapted and the way they've changed. And just made their brand survive and be as big as it is. I mean, I think wrestling right now is bigger than it's ever been. But they actually had their first ever Hack-a-thon, and they crowned a winner this past Sunday, a week from today, a week past. And the winner, the first place winner won $5,000, second place winner won $3,000, and the last place winner won $1,000. And what they did was you had, I think it was a 48-hour contest that allowed a team of students that were tasked with creating a kid-friendly WWE-themed mobile game that would appeal to ages 7 and older. So WWE having its first Hack-a-thon, and they crowd their first winner. So Facebook's done something like this, Google's done stuff like this. Hacking in a controlled environment can be a very good thing, and it's really cool that WWE had this and crowned a winner. So I'm sure we'll be seeing whatever that mobile game is as it comes out. Some other things too, Google Ventures going ahead and working a little more with the open source product design process. Again, that was something that was brought up the other day in the news. And Google Ventures obviously now being they've been picking up a lot of big players over the last couple of years. And Google Ventures is, they're trying a new trail and developing, delivering, advice and services and to its portfolio companies within in-house terms of experts, designing and, recruiting and engineering all different types of things to help Google, better run and better, more efficient. And, they have, their design, they picked up some design partners like Jake Knapp and some other people. So, Google keeping to their mission statement, designing better products and a better business. So definitely something neat. But they're trying to do a little more open source now and recruit some open source guys to probably try to save some money or something. Which, if anything, you think Google would be probably one of the biggest open source users, considering I'm sure all the servers on the back end are running Linux or Unix of some sort. So. YouTube, adding a play icon to page titles to show which tabs are making noise. That was kind of a new thing. It's kind of a neat kind of thing. I like it. I noticed it. YouTube, added the new play icon to the. I'm going to read the article here to you. YouTube has added, a new play icon to its video pages that only appears when content is playing. The icon disappears when it hits pause, allowing you to quickly see which tabs are making noise. So a new feature here for YouTube. Definitely a wonderful idea. And as YouTube always trying to redesign things. Really, really cool site. One thing I always said about YouTube, really cool site, HTML5, Flash-based, embedding videos and all that. Definitely was a great idea, and I've often said many times I wish I would have thought of it because I had designed sites like that years ago when I was younger, but these guys managed to take it and get it bought up, so good for them. But definitely a site that probably at the beginning didn't take a whole lot to get going, but. It's definitely is successful, and it's it is the number one video streaming site on the internet. So, some other things too: Microsoft cutting the Surface Pro by $100 to try to get sales up. As we all know, Microsoft taking a huge hit on the Surface Pro, and just showing they're going to take another big hit. Again, Microsoft struggling with this whole Windows 8 piece, and it's just showing here that they're really struggling, and they're going to continue to struggle. I think they need to go back to what was working. So, they are changing the way they do business. They're going to, instead of being Microsoft inside was very competitive, and now they're trying to become more unified. And it's not going to happen overnight, and Microsoft knows this. So they're working quite hard on it. And we'll see how they go with it. But Microsoft, they really should start going back to what's working. Talking about newspapers, we talked about it a little bit the other day. But now, obviously, we talked about it, the other day, Jeff Benzo. But now we're talking about something else here too, which was the announcement was made about the same time as Jeff Benzo was Monday or Tuesday, and New York Times sells Boston Globe, at a 93% loss. That's a huge number, by the way. They sold it to the Boston Red Sox owner. Boston Red Sox are a baseball team, for those of you that don't know. The price was $70 million in cash. A small fraction of the $1.1 billion the Times paid to acquire the Globe back in '93. So it just shows you, the company was estimated worth about $110 million. So definitely a company that has, the Boston Globe company that has definitely, dropped tremendously in value. And it could be because they didn't adapt to the times. It could be just because the way the newspaper was written. It could have been a lot of things. I know a lot of people always blame technology and digital media. I don't know if that's always the case, but in this case, though, they did sell a company that was losing a lot of money. So, and as we all know, the New York Times itself has been in trouble over the years. So, but you have to remember too, '93 was a long time ago as well. So. Companies, everything costs more nowadays than it did years ago. So, I mean, that's another part of it too. You can't just say, it's because, digital media, digital this. It's part of it is too the changing of the times and how much things have gone down or went up in value. By the way, just so everybody knows, but there is some truth to the matter that it has lost quite a few, readers. Saying the weekday circulation has fallen from 507,000 to 246,000, and they said, by the way, that's including digital and mirroring, and so the paper has definitely lost some readers and definitely lost quite a its push, but I'm sure that the guy that spends $70 million for this, I'm sure he's got a plan how he's going to turn it around. But, again, the New York Times, and I think just alone, this news article alone shows you, the Globe hasn't had any big media, hits, and no, they haven't been in the mainstream media at all for years. So this just, this article alone is going to help it, but Boston also as well has been under a lot lately over the last couple months with the bombing and all that type of stuff. So we'll see what this does. Sometimes just changing ownership can rebuild a company tremendously, and let's hope that happens for them. Some other news going on in the world of technology. Spotify browser brings theme playlist to your smartphone. Something kind of a little different here. Make it easier. Spotify's making it easier for its users to find playlists. For the mood or the occasion with its latest feature. It rolled out earlier on in the week to the iOS and the Android. With desktop support, I'm sure will come later. Spotify always usually pushes stuff to the phone first and then drops it on the desktop later. That's nothing new with them. They've been doing that forever now. But it makes it a lot easier making the browse. You can browse the playlist, look more familiar to fans, stuff like that. Popular. They make they try to grab videos and all that, make it look a lot nicer. It definitely is a nice look and feel. It definitely makes the browse is Spotify's latest, bid to attack the problem of music discovery on its platform, which the last year they noticed and they started working on it. They added follow and discovery features too a little bit earlier this year. So trying to get users to really, see songs, suggest albums, the sharing piece, all that stuff. Spotify's goal is to make sure that everybody can find the music they want. So definitely something new feature adding, and Spotify always adding new features, and they are a wonderful company. I'm actually a subscriber, and like I said, I joke around many times. I say, I've been pushing them for quite a while now. So, I always say I should get a sponsorship with those guys. The amount of press I've given them over the years on the website as well as on the podcast. So, but adding some new features, and it really is wonderful, and I do like it. So Google in the world, talking about Google and things, the way things have changed over the years. Google apparently messing around with touch controls to the Chrome browser. They're working on some test builds. By the way, folks, I don't like the rumor mill, but this, from what I've read, this is actually going to be a fact. They're trying to work on some more. Google's Chromebook Pixel laptop, has the touch enabled glass. And I guess they're trying to work on some other stuff as far as, pinch to zoom, tap, swipe controls, trying to make the device work much better. They have gesture controls, obviously, now, but they're working on making them better. Google's latest, build included a slide to navigate feature for swiping between two web pages, Chrome Candy. It's a lot of things. Google's web browser, the Mountain View, California tech giant, is designing, stuff for developers, trying to add the features so that developers can capitalize on them, stuff like that. So, Google, coming up with some new stuff, and Google, obviously, a company that, in my opinion, has pulled ahead a bit in the smartphone market because they've been innovative and willing to take the chance, and I think that's definitely why they. Definitely why they've succeeded. Some other things new, just in the, just some news, kind of not really news, but just something I thought was funny today. There was an article today, Pirate Bay celebrating its 10th birthday. So it's kind of neat. I just thought I would share that because I kind of, we talked about Pirate Bay a few times, all that type of stuff, and, they've been trying to take it down for years, and now it's celebrating its 10th birthday, Some other things going on, too, in the world of streaming video. Hulu putting out debuts an original comedy Western series called Quick Draw. Definitely Hulu trying to get into the original content business along with Amazon and some other people. So Netflix, HBO, they're trying to get into that business. Obviously, I think they made a fantastic move, Hulu, by getting the two soap operas, All My Children. I believe it was One Life to Live. They picked up. I know myself. I know a lot of older folks that went ahead and started watching Hulu and got Hulu subscription just for the soap opera. So I think that was a wonderful idea. And now going ahead and adding some comedy now, I think that'll definitely help them. Hulu is a different market than Netflix is, in my opinion. Hulu aims more towards the television, where Netflix is more towards the movies and the original series. But definitely something that Hulu's doing, trying to come up with some original content along with Amazon. Amazon Prime coming up with some original content. So really it's wonderful to see Hulu debuting new content and making sure they're staying in the game. As you know, they're owned by Disney, and Disney's been looking to sell them, but I'm not exactly sure where they're going with it now that they're adding some original content. So we'll see what happens with that. Some other things going on as well. Kickstarter, we blogged about that earlier last week. It's a wonderful way for startups to get capital by people donating. It's a really wonderful service, but it's only available here in the United States. They rolled out to Canada this week. So if you're somebody in Canada who's listening to us and you want to go ahead and start a Kickstart account, you can go ahead and do that. If you have a project you're trying to raise money for, wonderful idea. Another site that and there's not many sites that say I wish I would have thought of that, but that was Kickstarter is a really cool site, and I do wish I kind of thought of that. It really is a neat site where you just you put an idea up. If you have a good idea, people donate to you, and you get some money raised for the project. So I really, it's one of those sites that I really. I really wish I would have thought of, and it really is a wonderful site, and I just really wish I would have thought of it because it's just such a good idea. And, they're a great company, and now they're branching out to Canada and all like that. I believe they're taking the merger slow because of legal issues. Not that they're having any legal issues, but I believe there are legalities for taking donations for projects for individual people and stuff. So I think that's why they're branching out slowly. I can't say 100% on that, but that's what I've heard. But they are going to branch out slowly, and I believe they are going to eventually, by the end of the year, not early next year, branch out even to Europe and places like that. So good for them. Wonderful site. For our gaming listeners, we probably don't have many of them because we don't talk about gaming very much on this podcast. SimCity coming to the Mac August 29th. A SimCity, wonderful game, kicked back to my childhood. I remember playing it back on the Super Nintendo, but they're branching out now onto the Macs on August 29th. So if you're a SimCity fan, your wait is over. Some other news, Samsung unveiling the Galaxy Note 3 on September 4th. That's what they're saying. A lot of people have been waiting for that phone. I don't know if you guys ever use that phone. It's like carrying a tablet in your pocket. I know my fiance wants to get one. She thinks they're great. I think it's a huge phone. I do like it, but I think it is huge. But the next generation Galaxy Note 4 is scheduled for release on September 4th. 2 days before the first day of the convention. As we all know, in September as well. We don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure we know that that it is going to. We're probably going to see a new iPhone then as well. So, but like I said, the Galaxy Note 3. Like I said, event is going to be in September, and there's going to release. I believe as well from what I've read, and this is just rumors, so don't quote me on this. It is going to have a 6.3-inch screen, a little bit bigger. So we will see. Because obviously Samsung debuted the 6.3-inch screen on the Galaxy Mega, but they're believing now the Note's going to have it. So we'll see what happens. We'll go from there. I don't like the rumor mill, but that is a lot of people reporting on that. So some other news as far as business goes: Facebook going ahead and hiring its first chief operating. I believe it's. Chief Marketing Officer, excuse me. And so they're going ahead and hiring a Chief Marketing Officer for Facebook. They're obviously trying to expand their marketplace and all that type of stuff. Facebook, the social company, announced Gary Briggs, former CMO of Google's Motorola Mobility, as the company's first chief marketing officer. According to Facebook, Briggs has an impressive resume, handling marketing companies like Pepsi, eBay, PayPal, and most recently Google. After Google acquired Motorola for $12.5 billion, it made a service of changes, and including its leadership. And obviously now Facebook picking him up Obviously, Motorola had a big overhaul as of late, with the changing of hands. So that's where he's working now. So good for him. And we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavor. Some other things, too. LinkedIn lets you apply for jobs on your phone. That's something new that they just added. LinkedIn, the mobile app, obviously, not a huge fan of it. I think it's very slow moving, but it does allow you now to go ahead and apply for jobs right through there. I'd be interested to see if LinkedIn becomes a heavy competitor for companies like Monster or Dice or places like that. Just because of the power they have. The people already have an account. They're already signed in. They're already, talking to other businesses. But now they're, adding an apply for job piece. So I'd be very curious to see if LinkedIn goes ahead and competes with Monster or places like that. If they didn't, I'd be very surprised. But when I think of LinkedIn, I don't think of them as. I mean, yes, they are a social network. But when I think of LinkedIn, I think of more. I would think that they'd be competing more with a company like Monsters of that rather than. I mean, Facebook and Twitter are their own thing. I would think LinkedIn would compete more with the Monster or the Dices of the world. LinkedIn does it right. Probably could become the biggest job site out there. So, some other things as far as the world of business tech goes. President Obama vetoes the import ban on select Apple devices. We kind of knew, President Obama has been a big supporter of Apple since the start of things. Remember when he first became president, he met with a lot of the big CEOs, Google, Apple, and stuff like that. So he's very supportive of the .com industry, very supportive of Facebook and a lot of the other places. So I kind of figured he was going to do that, and I think what he did was, I agree with what he did. I think, trying to hurt an American-based company just isn't the way to go right now in this economy. But, so Apple will keep getting their stuff, brought into the country. So, good for them. Talking about security a little bit, get off the topic of business for a little bit. We'll talk about security. Obviously the HP LaserJet Pro printers. There's a remote exploit to gain unauthorized access to Wi-Fi and printer data. So if you own an HP LaserJet Pro wireless printer, yours may be vulnerable. There's I'm not going to go into the exact details, but there's it's CVE 2013-4807 is the exploit, and what happens is it allows remote hacker to execute the admin password in plain text, extract the admin password in plain text, along with other information like Wi-Fi settings, including WPS PIN. The main issue with some of the networked HP LaserJet printers having hidden URLs hard-coded into the firmware, which can access without authentication. The vulnerability could exploit remotely to gain unauthorized access to data as well as your wireless. So, new exploit here. What they're saying, affected models. The HP, there's a lot of models. Go ahead. We'll just put a link in the show notes, and you can go ahead and see if your printer's on this list. But I kind of knew something like that was going to happen. These wireless printers all say, when they started having the wireless printers, I said, watch, they're going to be able to exploit the wireless very, very, very soon. And lo and behold, within the last couple of years, it's come out. So some other things, too. As far as the world of security goes, Microsoft Social Network Yammer, which honestly I don't use at all. I don't even have a Yammer account. But if you are on Yammer, there is an O authentication bypass hack, and that was all. You can find all these hacks up on the hackernews.com. They're a legitimate site, talks about security and all that type of stuff. You can go up there and check out the latest their information. But apparently, there is Yammer has a vulnerability right now with that is allowing you to have it's a bypass hack. So another vulnerability, by the way, as well, found in the Apple iOS using they can use hidden malicious code inside of apps. That was, of course, all on the hackernews.com. Another interesting article up. The researchers found that the attack that was published on the Apple App Store used to remotely launch attacks through a controlled batch of devices, enabling them to post unauthorized tweets and make photos and even go after other apps. So using the BeagleBoard team created a USB malicious charger and allowed you to do what it does is when you plug your phone in, it actually deletes like your Facebook app and then puts another app on there and then allows the app to scan the phone, grab passwords, email, all that information stuff, and go ahead and send it back over the net. I believe they have said they are fixing the flaw in iOS 7, but man, that is a long time to wait. And by the way, when the this is part of the other reason why why Apple's going ahead and allowing you to change the chargers, because they're concerned about people using malicious chargers and getting hacked. That's one of the reasons why they're offering the $10 swap out. And but like I said, they are going to go ahead and patch this in iOS 7. So in the meantime, don't use anybody else's charger if you have an Apple device. By the way, some other things as well. Firefox 23 out now. If you're a Firefox user like I am, I too. Well, I like Chatzilla. That's a great add-in. By the way, I want to mention that I like Chatzilla. I do like to go on IRC forums and stuff and check some stuff out and chat with some friends of mine that still use IRC chat. And I like the Twit network too. They have an IRC chat. It's really, really good, especially when the shows are going on. But Chatzilla, it's a wonderful add-in. If you don't use it, you should get it. It really is worth it. But Firefox 23 arrives with a new logo, mixed content blocked, and a new network monitor. So obviously Firefox 23 out now, and if you definitely is something that. If you use Firefox, you've noticed, Firefox really had some memory leak problems and was just a real computer hog, a couple of years ago. And they really come a long way, and they really did a wonderful job with the browser as of late. So I definitely recommend either using Firefox. They're really, really good. I like to use Firefox myself with ad block and no script turned on. Keeps me pretty secure. And Chrome's a good browser too, by the way. But I just like Firefox myself. But it definitely Firefox. I don't use IE, that's for sure, and definitely don't use Safari. So some other news, by the way, the Tor project is advising that people stop using Windows after a discovery of a startling vulnerability in Firefox. The Tor, that was, excuse me. So it's the main advantage of Tor is protected, but with the 0-day vulnerability allowed. It's yet unknown the interloops of how it works, but they do know it leverages JavaScript somehow, so they're encouraging people to go ahead and that use Tor to stop using Windows and disable JavaScript. So Tor is an interesting thing. We probably could do a whole podcast probably just on Tor. We've talked about it a little bit in the past. Some other podcasts as well as like Security Now and some other ones have done whole shows just on that. We probably could do a little more on that. At the beginning of the show, I like to do a little banter and talk about what's going on and my feelings on stuff. But we probably could throw Tor in there maybe next week. We'll see what happens. Some other interesting things going on as well. Apparently, Twitter, a driver for for television ratings. And they're saying people that use Twitter watch more television, and I mean that's no real secret there. Twitter. If you see something trending on Twitter, you go check out what's going on. That's just the way Twitter has become, and that's fine. That's the way the company's designed. But definitely something that they're finding now in studies. So, some other news as well. Facebook. Looking to change the way we do news feeds. I don't have a lot of information on that, but I did want to bring that up. That was in the news. Facebook definitely changing the graphical search now and now adding the way we look at news feeds. So definitely some new features coming out with Facebook, and I just thought that was kind of neat. Some other news as well. You probably read it on the internet. The Wikipedia editor went ahead and changed something in in Snowden's bio to a traitor, and it was, 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 it it was found out it was traced back to a U.S. senator, is the one that actually made the change. So I don't know if the change was ever made back, but that was a big thing the other day. In fact, that a senator went ahead and was editing Wikipedia sites and stuff. So definitely something interesting, and it was neat that they were able to actually trace it back. But yeah, they're finding that they found that out, and I thought that was kind of interesting. They were able to trace it back and all that type of stuff. I found out who actually did it. So some other news going on as well. Forensics experts poking holes in Snapchat and Facebook. Another piece of security news this week. Apparently, Snapchat, if you're a Android user, goes ahead and leaves remnants of the pictures on your phone. So that's something a little bit interesting. If you're using Android, if you're using an iOS device, it does, however. They found that Snapchat creates a file called a user.plist, which contains all sorts of metadata and images, files sent, received, all that stuff. So, it includes times of photos sent, received, stuff like that. And like I said, on the Android device, it actually had the pictures still there. There were still chunks of the pictures still left, and you can still see them. So that was kind of interesting. And they found that there's this .xml file on the Android. They use an S3 for this, but they actually had the same information as well. It seems like the iOS device though doesn't save the pictures, but it does keep the plist info, whereas the Android keeps both. So kind of neat. The other thing too, if you noticed as well, there's a. They were talking about. In the case of Facebook posts, they found similar results, metadata and stuff like that. You can Facebook also apparently they're saying that the text included in the posts was also stored in a database file as well. So Facebook pokes and Snapchat apparently. Little different. There was also an update, by the way, to this earlier in the weekend, so I grabbed it. In the article they said that our original article stated that the iPhone used by the forensic expert was jailbroken one, which in fact it was not. Also on the Samsung S3 Mini was rooted, so a little bit of an update, but nothing major. But again, Facebook pokes and Snapchat, obviously some security problems there. I like Snapchat myself, but there's some security issues that everybody should know about. In the world of business, Yahoo going to debut a new logo after 30 days of runners-up. I thought that was pretty cool. Every day I've been going on Yahoo and seeing what the new logo is going to look like. So it's kind of neat. Kind of an idea they stole from Google with Google Dorks, but really cool. So kind of like it. We'll see what the new logo is this time as the month progresses here. Apparently, Microsoft filing a patent for augmentation reality gaming glass. No more information yet on it, but that was in the news as well. Some other news as well. We don't talk about AOL very much on here because there's no reason to. But AOL acquiring Adapt.tv for $405 million to boost video and ad revenue. Not a lot of information yet on it, but like I said, we do know that AOL acquired them earlier this week. YouTube founders, by the way, kind of neat. Challenging. Vine and Instagram with the new video app. So that was kind of neat. Like I said, the guys they originally founded Facebook, and now they're trying a different thing. So good for those guys. Like I said, Facebook's one of those sites I wish I would have thought of it. But really cool. And those guys, by the way, one of the things I didn't realize, by the way, for those of you that use Vine, and if you do have young children, one thing that you definitely should be aware is the Vine videos are not moderated. I was listening to Opie and Anthony the other day, and they're on satellite, so they can say what they want. But they had found that the videos weren't moderated, and they were playing the unmoderated videos right on the show. And I mean, being an adult, it's humorous. But if you're a parent, you don't want your kid looking at that. So I would go ahead and if they have Vine on their phone, make sure you're keeping an eye on what they're watching. Some other stuff as well. A neat new program coming out that alerts you. when your meds expire. This isn't an app, but what this is actually prescription it's actually a package. You put your prescriptions in and you set the time, and then it lets you know when the prescriptions are going to expire. It's like a prescription bottle that lets you know when it's going to expire. Very cool. It's in development right now, but it's something I ran across, and it's definitely something that it's very interesting, and I would go ahead and just if you're interested in it, take a look at it. I'll post the link in the show notes. It's really neat. So since that's pretty much the end of the news here as far as the news goes for the week. But I always take your questions. People always have questions for the Technology Geek. And like I said, if you have any questions, by the way, send them to me at LaPannyTech, and I'll go ahead and answer them for you. I like to do it on Twitter, so we get the social media aspect of it, and as well as I'll answer them on the podcast. One of the questions we had this week is, well, what is the best smartphone for a Linux geek? That's really a question. I'm going to say Android only because Android I know is Linux based. Obviously, as those of you know that the OS X and iOS, they are Unix based, but the Android phone is actually Linux based. So I would say definitely an Android phone. Another question that was kind of neat. Somebody says, "Why are ebooks so terribly laid out?" I agree with that. Some ebooks are well laid out, and this is kind of what a lot of people don't realize. If you go to Amazon.com and they give you that quick look inside the book, you see how nice and smooth it's laid out. But then when you buy the Kindle version, it's basically like flat text on white screen. So you're absolutely right. The ebooks are terribly laid out. I wish they would lay them out the way Amazon lays out their first look, but they don't. And that's everybody. It's not just them. So to answer your question, why are they laid out so terribly? I think there's evolution has to come. I think enough people has to mention that they look terrible, and a bunch of people, hopefully people will go ahead and change that. So, but unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do. When the DVD industry first came out, there were issues like that where people were saying the way the DVDs with the, with the framing and all that was terrible. But I know what you're saying, and believe me, I agree with you. Do I have a choice of internet other than cable? What's another question we had? You could go with DSL. I find DSL to be very slow. I don't like slow internet. You also could tether it to your phone if you have unlimited data, or if you want to buy a hotspot. That's another option you could do. There's a lot of options you could do. You can do FiOS if you have Verizon in your area. There's a lot of things you could do. If I knew more, if you're in Kansas City, you can use Google Fiber. But there are some other options out there besides cable. Cable will be one of your faster choices, though. Another question I got is, how can I get LinkedIn to stop spamming me? I think that's a general problem among everybody. If you sign up for anything, you're constantly getting spammed. The one thing you could do, if you don't get any important email from it, just add it to your spam list. The other thing you can do is you can make a fake email address and then go into LinkedIn and change it to that email address. The only problem is if you forget your password, you won't be able to get back in, but that's an option. There's a lot of things you can do, but that's really the only way to keep spam. What I would do is just put all the LinkedIn stuff into a spam folder and just delete it once in a while. That's what I do. Another question we had is, how can I keep my unlimited data plan? The only way to really keep an unlimited data plan anymore is to go ahead and just buy a phone outright and make sure you're not in contract. If you have unlimited data, you'll be grandfathered in. You'll keep with unlimited data. But that's really the only way I can think of to do it. The other thing the other way you get an unlimited data plan is just go to Sprint. Sprint's still one of the very few providers that don't throttle your data. So another question is, how can I turn off Google Voice? You can go into your Google account and turn off Google Voice. You don't have to use it. The other thing is, you could just call whoever your cell phone provider is, and just go ahead and ask them if they could they can help you. It's relatively easy to have Google Voice, but even if you turn off Google Voice, you might have to call Sprint to set your voicemail box back up, or whoever your provider is, for that matter. So that's all the questions we have this week. It was very light question week this week. That's unfortunate, but it was. And like I said, you can find all of our information on thetechnologygeek.org, as well as all of our podcasts up on iTunes. And you can follow me on my Twitter at LaPannyTech. I want to thank everybody for listening, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.